If you don't know, and your phone isn't telling you, this is where the real Pokemon is. Right here. You missed it. On your phone. On your app. Didn't you know? This is where Pokemon is. So, hello friends. We are actually out. We're getting out today. And
we ain't playing Pokemon.
And we aren't playing Pokemon. So this is, I just thought I'd whip out the camera. This is kind of par for course for us when we decide to get out and about. This is quite beautiful, as you can see. But I wanted to talk about Pokemon because, believe it or not, what is it?
Pokemon.
Oh, Pokemon. It's Pokemon. I didn't know what Pokemon was, and I just found out a couple.
I even know what it is.
I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what it was, and I went to work a couple days ago, and they were talking about Pokemon, Pokehead, Pokemon, I don't know what it is. So, and okay, and I still really don't understand the concept, but apparently it is something. It's an app that goes on a cell phone, right? And people are going crazy over it, and they're playing it. And, you know, I'm not going to say anything bad, but I'm just going to kind of give you our thoughts on this whole Pokemon craze.
You don't want my thoughts.
Do we want Mr. Hilders' thoughts on the Pokemon craze?
This is my Pokemon right
This is our Pokemon. So one of the things that we have heard about Pokemon, and one of the positive things about Pokemon is it's getting people out and about so they can see new things, new experiences. But this is our criticism, or at least my criticism.
I was yelling at, oh yeah, you got your camera. I was yelling at her because she brought that little track phone today. We don't bring that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we usually don't bring
If people didn't have phones and all that, these advanced phones, not just phones for like, hey, I need help, but all this game phone stuff, you'd be out doing this stuff then.
Yeah, and I think that's the point that we want to make. We have become so reliant on these phones and the internet. And granted, I know technology is awesome. It has really pioneered us into such a new world, and it's cool. But I think the other thing is we are looking at such an enslavement to these phones. And when we are now going crazy over Pokemon, and we're saying it's so awesome because it's getting people out with their heads down, looking at their phones so they can follow the apps to find this Pokemon thing. And I mean, it's crazy. I just don't understand. I mean, we're becoming enslaved with these phones, and everywhere we go and everything that we do, we have the phones attached to our ears. And if we're not texting, we're doing apps like Pokemon.
Oh,
Pokemon.
M-O-N.
Pokemon. And I just see it as not a good thing. I really don't, and I know I'm probably going to get slammed for saying that because it's getting people out. People that are usually stuck in their homes, and they're on their computers, and they're in their closets, and they're rotting their lives away. I guess I don't know what people do, but if Pokemon is the thing that gets you out of the house, I don't know. Am I missing something? I must be missing something.
That other thing where everybody's vaping.
Oh, yeah.
I told my buddy, he says, man, I've been vaping for years. And he's like, what? You couldn't believe it. This is the vape right here. You go like this, and then you go, wow, that's freaking awesome, man. And I get different flavors
vaping,
all the time.
That's the other thing.
I get this high subalpine pine here is awesome. I do the cedar. I do whatever I...
A lot of vaping going on.
Oh, it's awesome.
We've got Pokemon going on up here. We've got vaping going on.
Watch.
It's the new era.
Oh man, this stuff smells awesome. This is way better than the down in the valley stuff.
Yeah.
It's really sharp.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I hear. So.
The only person in America that doesn't have a phone. I refuse to have one.
Yeah, Mr. Hilders doesn't have a phone. There's a lot of things that we don't have. And it's not just because we chose a self-sustainable off-grid life, and it's not because we want to escape from the urban jungle. We're not hiding out in the mountains, and we're waiting for I don't know, whatever we're waiting for. We just really chose this lifestyle, and we choose to stay away from all of this technological stuff because it is a form of dependence. It's a form of enslavement. I look at it as a form of enslavement, especially when people cannot do anything without their phones. They rely on their phones, just when you get into your car. Almost all these new cars have GPSs now. We don't even read road maps anymore. And I have heard stories where the GPS, like back in Wisconsin, the GPS led a lady down a road which wasn't a road. It was actually a snowmobile trail. Yeah, and she ended up on a snowmobile trail, and yeah, guess what happens? But the GPS told her that was where she was supposed to go. You remember that?
That's when common sense doesn't kick in.
Well, and that's what people are losing because they are relying so much on all of this technology. You know, they rely on their phones, and that's what we're losing here in America, in the world. And I know, yes.
When you're back from the olden days, you know, you want to figure out where you're going. You always paid attention to the sun. That's what we were going. We missed our turnoff down here, and we started. The mountain range runs north and south, and I'm like, well, we're not going up anymore. We're following the mountain range. So you pay attention to those kind of things, and then you figure out where you're going.
But people don't do that anymore. No, because they're relying on their Garmin's and their GPSs. And yes, I understand those things are nice. They're convenience when they work. But just think about it. And this gets back to the fact: what happens if the grid really did go down? What would happen is if, say, something like the grid did go down, and I know there are people still out there who laugh about that. Don't laugh about that, because the value of skill and knowledge is so important. And when we are becoming a nation where we are going crazy over Pokehead or Pokey whatever, and we're losing it. We are losing it. And instead of teaching our children how to garden and how to, say, build a fire and to identify herbs, you know, we're buying them apps so we can help them get outside to play Pokemon. And if that's the only driving force that we can offer our kids, Pokemon, that's pretty sad. Yeah. Oh, well, the map and compass is out.
Treasures, like,
yeah.
Remember we stopped at
finding rocks,
yeah,
and
we stopped at those other people's. Your friends there and they live up in the mountains here, and they were talking about treasures they had found, and he was pointing them out on X and on my map. And he said, "This is what we need to go search for."
Yes.
That type of stuff.
Yes. Yes. Natural treasures. I mean, do kids even pick up rocks anymore? Do they get excited about finding different flowers? Or, I mean, look at the topography that we're in today, and look at how gorgeous everything is. I mean, from the rocks to the different types of flower and vegetation, it's just.
Better pay attention.
So look at this. Here's a good point. Look how beautiful this is.
Cool.
So this is grown right into.
Well, it's worn or something
it's worn
from the
right
water running over it.
Yeah.
Because you remember, there's like 10 feet of snow up here.
So this is where Pokemon is, right? Isn't that a Pokemon? I still don't understand what a Pokemon is.
I don't know. Maybe someone will tell us in the.
Yeah, maybe someone will explain the whole concept. But those are kind of the points that I'm trying to make. I get that we are living in a world where Pokemon is the reality. And if that's the only thing that gets the kids out and gets people motivated, then so be it. You know, I can see the positive part in that. But this is how far to the extreme we have gotten. And we have gotten away from basics. And it's kind of an observation. I may be behind the times. I may be not getting the whole thing at all. with the cell phones and the vaping and you know, and I'm quite content being without all the technological things that we do without. But you know, our philosophy is back to basics, a simple knowledge, skill, and still we have that belief that we really do think one day all of that technology may not be at our fingertips, and then it's not going to make any difference how many Pokemons you found. You need to start looking up and watch where you're going. That's our best advice. Okay, that's it.